Hey, everybody, it's the Fat Man in Vegas. How do you like these, sweet tunes that are, going under my voice today? This is all courtesy of, Purple Monkey Entertainment, yeah. I, reached out to him, asked for something, a little bit of a beat, gave him some ideas of what I was looking at, and this is what he came up with. And I just want to say that it's amazing, it's delicious, and, I think I'm gonna go back. I've got some other ideas, some things that I'd like done, and he's a real cool cat. So if anybody out there is looking for some sweet sounds, reach out to Purple Monkey Entertainment. Anyway, what I have coming up is basically it's a fireside chat without the fireside. You know, I kind of slowed down on those. I needed to focus on something a little more positive. But the fireside chats are coming back. They're going to be more positive. They're going to be more fun. But it's just going to be a one-on-one. Oh, yeah. Right now, what I want to talk about is what's coming up. So, this is the intro. This is the part where I ramble for a couple of minutes and just talk to you before I bring on my guest. And my guest is... HungryPup. Now, HungryPup, we've dropped one of his episodes on the feed before, and this is really weird for me as just like this weird random podcaster, but HungryPup, he's the first guy who ever reached out to me and Jeremy, to the Backlog Busters, and said, hey guys, you know, I was just looking for some podcasts, and I found yours through iTunes or through whatever it was. He was searching for like backlogs and old games and stuff like that, and the Backlog Busters came up. So he reached out to us and said that, you know, he's following us and he started listening to us and he really digs what we're doing. So that was really cool. That's the first time that ever happened to me, and it's a very proud moment that, you know, something I've done has touched somebody, has made a difference. It made so much of a difference that he reached out to us. You know, and now he's part of the community. He's out there on Twitter. He's playing along with Backlog Bingo. I mean, next year we're going to focus on Backlog Bingo a whole lot harder. But, yeah. So, yeah, you know, I'm grateful to have him in my life. He's become one of the guys that I like to talk to. He was on a fireside chat a little bit earlier in the year. And I'm really hoping that his voice... we can get him on a little bit more, maybe join an episode of the Backlog Busters, but I wanted to have this conversation with him, and I wanted to just, you know, let the conversation flow, but at the end of the conversation, there's a message in there. I want y'all to hear it. I'm gonna let this beat take us out.
In the Old West.
It's what they call hot. And when you don't have a working AC in your car, it's what they call annoying.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, my AC kind of sort of works a little bit on the lowest setting. So nighttime, the drive home, not too bad. But during the day, it's bloody awful. So,
how hot would
weeks,
you say it's in Las Vegas on this Friday night at around 8 o'clock? About 108 degrees?
No, we're probably sitting at about 100-ish. I was just slowing down to let people cross the road to the parking lot. And somebody who, I guess they're very impatient and have somewhere to go, they went around me and sped up to pass me instead of letting those people go. I love people. They're all so pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people are very impatient, and I don't understand. It's
people only care about themselves lately.
It's that they need to take a deep breath and just relax, and they'll get there.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain fairly certain the 5 seconds they just saved probably isn't going to change anything.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear from you. It's been too long.
It has. I feel like I haven't talked to anybody in a long time. I need to get back to having some conversations and just, realizing that there's life outside of work.
Yeah, the last, I believe, the last session that I listened to of the good old Backlog Gang, you weren't on it. I think it was Mathman and Backlog Odyssey and Blaze.
Yeah, they did an E3 episode, which turned out really good. I was very happy with it.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Turkey's moving, or has moved, or was in the process, so he wasn't able to jump on, and I ended up having.
In the backyard in Canada.
He maybe changed backyards. He's staying on the loose so that nobody can find him. Maybe he's going to go underground and be a groundhog instead of a turkey. Anything's possible when it comes to that, man.
Yeah.
But, and the last time I talked to you, you said you were thinking about starting Disgaea. It was one of your, yes, and like 160 hours later, you're thinking about the next game?
160 hours later. I don't know where the time goes. I started Disgaea, and then I kind of just chipping away at it, and then suddenly it's the last day of July, and I'm finally beating the game. I finally beat it, and it was so much time and energy, but it was fun. But now as I go think about the next game, I have this thought in my head like, I need to do something shorter.
Well,
that was like all.
You did do Fire Emblem, then Disgaea 5, so you have played some very meaty games recently. You need like a 6-hour action game to
I do.
Your palate.
I have pup exhaustion.
Have you come up with any options of what you're looking at, or are you just taking a break?
No, I don't want to take a break. I love video games. I like them like books. Like it's just okay. What's the next thing? And I'm doing backlog bingo, and I'm looking at my board, and I have my game that starts with G. I have my golf story, and I have my gamer's choice, which is the Pocket Stables game that I made count for something. And then
Stables.
Pocket Stables on the Switch, and then I had the game with the number in the title, I guess, is Disgaea 5. Unless that is the RPG game, it probably fits as either. So now I want to just close the last two. And I'm looking at a game ranked in the top 10 or an RPG game.
Yeah, I would probably find that top 10 game somewhere and do the RPG game later.
And it's funny, on Twitter, you had recommended Divinity Original Sin. I was like, I really want to play that game, but I'm like looking at it again and thinking, this is probably like 90 hours.
Oh, I'm sure easily 90 hours. And then you can do some side quests too. I've heard so much good stuff about it that I want to put time into it. And I was trying to talk myself into it, and I'm like, I can't justify doing it without finally going back and beating Fire Emblem first. Because if the year changes to 2021 and I haven't beaten Fire Emblem, it's safe to say I'm just not going back to it. So, and I liked what I played for the 50 hours that I played, but I need to get back and see that happy ending.
Of course. What are you playing now?
On the Switch, I've been playing Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair a little bit. I've also been playing Dead Cells and Has Been Heroes. So I've been bouncing back and forth between those on the Switch. On the PlayStation 4, I've been playing The Last of Us 2, where I took a small break because I haven't had time to play when there's no kids around. And that's definitely a game I'm not playing in front of children. But I got the first half of the game done because I had some mornings and a couple of evenings where there was no one around. So now I gotta find some times to put in like an hour here and an hour there so that I can finish that off. And that's about it. I've just been bouncing back and forth between those. I haven't really found anything that sticks on the Switch, which is why I've gone back to the games that I can just play all the time, like Dead Cells. So,
I was looking at Dead Cells.
it's so fun, but it's very difficult to get that complete run in, so that you can like say that you beat the game, even though it's really just rolling credits, because after you beat the game, there's technically more to do. I guess to me, beating the game just means I rolled credits.
Yeah.
I really suppose that I should just dedicate myself and, put another 2 weeks into Animal Crossing so that I can. What's the goal there? You get like a 5-star island and it rolls credits and you get KK Slider or something like that. I know there's a way to roll credits. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I remember that episode when you guys were talking about that. Someone, maybe it was Backlog or Mathman. I mean Odyssey or Mathland said that it might count if you play the whole year. if it's too hard to do the 5-star island.
Yeah, no. I mean, you should be able to get 5-star. Just put a whole bunch of decorations up or something. I mean, how hard can it be? But no, I think I'm just retiring that game. I have no desire to go back to it and shake trees and dig up fossils anymore.
And I remember we were talking about that, the errands, so you could pay off Tom Nook the Crook.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine for a while, but it just it lost its focus. I'm so happy there's people out there that have played for over 1,000 hours already, but the game does not grab me like that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And Dead Cells is a Metrovania, I think, right?
It is a roguelike Metrovania. I mean, it's not really a Metrovania. It's more than just Castlevania. But it's a roguelike. So there's like a whole bunch of levels. I just bought the newest DLC. I think it was like $4, maybe $5. And the 2 DLCs that they have for it just add extra biomes into it. So, there's different paths that you can choose to go through it. I think to go through and actually complete a run, you have to beat, I think it's like 3 bosses, like 2 bosses and the end boss. So depending on the different paths you take, depends on which bosses you run into. But in order to actually unlock the other, alternate levels and stuff that you can get to, there's certain things you have to do in certain biomes, like beat certain enemies, and then they give you a drop that lets you have access to other things on, future runs. But it's probably the most satisfying Castlevania type game I've ever played. The combat's amazing. The range of weapons is really cool. And, I would love if Konami, just told this developer, hey, we'll let you make a Castlevania game. Have fun with it. I feel like they have everything down, and you give them the keys, they would knock something out that's better than Konami probably ever did. Except for maybe Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, that was a great one.
But yeah, the gameplay is just so much fun. Whenever it's on sale, just pick it up. It's well worth it.
Yeah, I might take you up on that. I want to play a game like that. I don't know which. I like you said, like a 6-hour action game.
Yeah, the problem with any roguelite is they're not really a 6-hour game.
Yeah.
Unless you're really, really, really good at that.
And I'm not. Usually, historically, I'm the opposite of that. I'll play it and I'll die a bunch of times and get frustrated and then do something else.
And then I saw that the 2K games that were put on Switch are finally starting to see sales. The Borderlands collection and the BioShock collection, they're on sale for like $34.99. I don't know if the individual games are on sale or just the collections, but they're starting to go on sale, which gives me hope that my whole hope is that I can pick them up for like $20 around Black Friday. I'd be willing to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, $20 for 3 games, that's well within my range.
That is. And would you kindly buy the BioShock series?
Would I kindly? That would probably, like I tell myself that I would buy Borderlands first, and I did get that, but I would probably have to go BioShock first because Borderlands is just so much fun with other people. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I think I've tried running through a bit of Borderlands 2 by myself, and I just didn't feel like it. But if I'm running through it with friends or something, I can put a lot more time into it, and it's more fun. So, whereas BioShock, like, I love the first game, except for when I found out that I was basically turned into Pavlov's dog, and,
A man chooses, a slave obeys.
Yes. But I want to play the other two. I've never played them on any system before.
I didn't either. I stopped after the first one. I really liked BioShock, and it was a very interesting psychological game, and I like those type of games for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at it, but it didn't really matter. I was pretty pleasantly surprised when I got to the end, and I won't.
I mean,
spoil that.
the nice thing is, if a game has easy mode, you don't really have to be good at them.
Right.
Speaking of games that you have to be good at, I would really, I want to play the Ori game so bad.
I thought you
But-
beat the one.
No, I played a little bit of the demo.
Oh yeah, I
never-
love that game. It's like only
Yeah.
that's a 6-hour, 7-hour game. I think I played
Is
it on
it?
Steam.
Oh, okay. So
It definitely wasn't long.
yeah, maybe that's one of the next ones that if I find it on a sale, or I guess Xbox Game Pass, just to do something quicker. I also really want to play Minecraft Dungeons. For whatever reason, I haven't played that at all yet. So
Yeah, that sounds fun too.
that's got to be a shorter one too. I mean, just to even run through it, basically. I think people were saying in order to like get their 1,000 achievements or whatever system they're playing it on, like it was like maybe a 20-hour game, and that's like replaying it to get other stuff. So you're probably looking at like 10 to 12 hours on that, which, when you're putting 160 hours in the game, it's a lot shorter.
I feel like all the times I talked to you, I played with Octopath, and that was like 100 hours.
Yeah, that's yeah. See, that's what I know you for. Every time we have a conversation, it's after you've played something like huge and life devouring.
It's like these. I mean, Backlog Odyssey understands my name. I understand his name, maybe.
Yeah.
He's the Odyssey of the games. 100 hours of Octopath. Then I do Fire Emblem, and then I do Disgaea.
Yeah. So speaking of like long games, do you have any interest in the SMT games when they come out?
I'm drawing a blank. Which one was SMT?
The Shin Megami Tensei,
Oh,
like Nocturne is coming out next year, and 5 is coming out next year.
yeah.
Yeah?
I do. I don't know much about them though.
No, I've never played anything in that series. I've put some time into Persona 4 on the Vita, and I've played like offshoot stuff, but I've never played anything in the mainline series, and I really feel like I should rectify that when they come out for Switch.
Oh, I just Googled it. Yes, this is the Persona series.
It is what the Persona series spun off of, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
This series was out for a while, and then they came out with Persona. But it's all, I guess, in the same universe. Yeah.
I only played the one. I played Persona 5, one of my favorite games of ever. It was great. I loved living in that world. So yeah, I definitely would have
same
interest in this.
developers. Well, there we go. 2021. The
2021.
Our RPGs again.
When I get my PS5. because I won't be able to hold back.
Are you picking one up right away?
Probably. I haven't committed to it. I told my wife that I think I'm gonna buy a PS5, and she's said, "Why? Yeah, you have PS4 and you play that all the time."
He hasn't said why.
And my thought was, well, why not? I mean, I'll just stop playing the PS4 and play the PS5 because that's the greatest thing available. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
we need it, right?
I agree. That's what I told my wife. I'm like, hey, I was like, I love the PlayStation. And I was like, we have two in the house, but I was like, the two kids are always using it. So I feel like I should get the PlayStation 5 and they can keep using the PlayStation 4.
And then everybody wins.
She's looking at me, and I was like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like this would make my life better and yours as well. How will this make my life better, she says. And I'm like, let's not talk about that. Let's focus on me.
He said, I will be very happy. And by analogy, you will also be very happy with my happiness.
Happy? Yes. Happy husband. The wife doesn't yell at me as much. I mean, that's how this works, right?
Foolproof. And I'm trying to plan not only what if I get this system or when I get PlayStation 5. Like I constantly, one of the things that's like a hobby for me to think about is what are the games I'm going to play in the fall and up to that point. Like just and kind of think into the future. Like I try to like, okay, I'm done with this guy at 5, and now part of my thought is like, what am I gonna do in August and September and October? And then if November, December, more stuff will come out. But there's probably like a 3-month thing where am I gonna play like 1 game or 2 games at the same time, or am I gonna play a couple short games?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing is if the 5 is backwards compatible with most PS4 games, I still have a backlog of PS4 games, so when I get to 5, I can play some of those games I've neglected, until the PS5 games start rolling out consistently.
Yeah, there you go.
So I definitely want to pick up the Miles Morales, though. Other than that, I don't know. Ratchet and Clank look nice, but I haven't played one of those in a long time.
Good-looking game, those games.
Yeah.
I only played, I haven't played one in a long time either. It was probably PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
I think so, but it was fun.
I really, I don't know. The more people are playing it and talking good things about it, like I have people at work that keep saying great things about it. Like I really want to pick up Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, and I see that too. I just feel like it's gonna be really hard. And I'm not.
I feel like it's going to be difficult at points. I also feel like if I can pick that up on a Black Friday sale, I'll be infinitely more happy with myself. So, I have to beat The Last of Us 2 before I'm allowed to pick it up, though. That's the rule I've given myself. And then, in theory, and this has never worked for me at any time, even though I tell myself the same thing every time new systems come out. In theory, when I get the new system, the PlayStation 5, I'm going to allow myself only a backlog of so big. Like, I have to beat games before I get the next set. And I'll probably be really good about that for like 6 months. And then the next thing you know, I'll have like 15 games I haven't played.
Yep. I'm right there.
But I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
That's all you can do.
I know. I mean, I'm going to put my best foot forward. And if I fail, at least I knew in advance I was going to fail.
I know what I wanted to tell you too. I just thought of one of the last podcasts I was listening to from you guys. It was Math Man. I want to talk to that guy at some point. He's pretty awesome. He was talking about Dragon Quest XI, that was one of my 90-hour ones from last year. And, and I had beaten that one, and I loved it. I thought it was a great game. And he was in his last session. He was talking all about how much he loved it, and he was playing it, but then he went away from it, and then he came back, and he likes and he went into all the characters. So now he's got me thinking, well, I could go back to that and play episode 3. I guess it was like 3 episodes if I remember correctly, that game, and the main game ends after episode 2. And then
that's right, because it's like it's technically an ending, but it's not like it's just the credits are rolling, but there's more to do to really beat the game.
Yeah, and I was at that point I played a ton of it, so I was like, I'm done for now, and I just put it on the shelf. But
Yeah, I mean, it feels incomplete if you ask me.
I know. At least I don't know how many more hours I would go with that. Maybe that could be short, and I could like pick at it a little more.
Yeah. But I mean, definitely we'll have to have a time where, you know, we can get you on, like me, you, and Mathman or something like that, and you guys can talk about the 100-hour RPGs you guys beat, while I'm sitting there going, I put like 20 in the Octopath before I gave up.
One of the things that worked for me real well with Disgaea, because the last time we talked, I was, I think, at the 100-hour mark or something like that, and I had some huge fatigue, and I was like, I don't feel like playing this anymore. But the thing that worked for me is I just put it down and played something else for a while, and the something else was a baseball game. I was playing MLB The Show.
Yeah, and I really think that's something, and I believe we've talked about this at some point, whether on Twitter or something, but I need to get better at having, like, a side game. I need to get better. Like I like big, long games, but I get that fatigue, and I just have to put them down and walk away for a while. Sometimes a year, sometimes 3 years, whatever. But, like, I need that other thing to, like, just refresh me a little bit. Just something completely different. Like,
yeah,
if I'm playing,
palate cleanse.
yeah. So, you know, while I'm playing something, you know, big and large, if it's like a turn-based RPG or something, I need something more action-heavy on the side to just give my brain that different, you know, dose of dopamine, so that I don't get tired of, you know, the 100-hour grind or whatever it is.
Right. That's a good point. I wonder if it always is an action game, because I kind of have that pull towards an action game too. It's like when you get this 100-hour this grind of an RPG and character development and character customization, and then you're just like, I just need to like mesh buttons.
Right. Like, I need some Devil May Cry 5 in my life. Dante, where are you?
I just need to, yeah. I mean, that's a good idea too.
Yeah. And I think that's a reason why I keep going back to, like, Dead Cells and Has Been Heroes, because, like, I looked at the playtime on my save file for Has Been Heroes, and I'm at like 92 hours. So it's obviously a game that has stuck with me, and I've gone back to over and over and over. And I think it's just because it's a different feel from other stuff that I play. It's got some strategy in there, but it's, you know, very combat action-ish, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one now too. Looks interesting.
It's a really strange game because it's lane-based. So you have your 3 heroes, and they're in 3 different lanes. And you can attack with a hero, and then before the next hero can attack, you can choose to swap lanes. So for instance, if, like, your hero on the top lane attacks, then you can swap lanes and do an attack with another hero on the top lane. Each hero has a different amount of, you know, moves. Like, the rogue has 3 attacks, the warrior has 1 attack, and then there's, like, this middle one that has 2. All the enemies have different amounts of stamina, so when you knock out the stamina, you know, you get that exact amount, then they're open for big damage. So if you have a guy with 3 stamina, you hit him with your rogue, knocks out his stamina, put the warrior up there so the warrior can do big damage. So there's, like, a lot of planning and strategy in there. And like I said, it's all lane-based, so you have enemies coming at you constantly on all 3 lanes, and you just have to balance out who's attacking where. Like, if you do attack and your rogue goes to the end of the screen to hit somebody, and you change lanes to put someone else in his spot, when the rogue comes back to his resting spot, he kind of, like, backtracks through the enemies, which also does damage to them. So it's really weird to explain, but, like, you kind of just gotta watch, like, a video on YouTube or something to, like, get the feel for it and see what it really is.
Right.
Because that's one of the, like, I saw somebody, I heard about it and I was like, that sounds interesting, And then I saw somebody playing it, and they were kind of like explaining what they were doing, why they were doing it, how they were doing it. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to try this. And I don't like roguelike games in general, but man, that game is just something about it like gets my brain. I'm like, I love this game.
It looks kind of reminds me of Plants vs. Zombies with the lanes.
Yeah, the lane's similar to that, I would say.
But less of a defense, I guess, and more of an onslaught.
Yeah, less defense and more like you need to beat them down before they get to you. And the maps are all procedurally generated. They put different shops in there. There's really annoying things. Like you start the game and you don't have any keys for chests. And there's been many times where like one of the first places I come across is chests that are all locked. And I feel like the game is just teasing me when it does that. Like, hey, if you had a key, you could get in here. But you don't, because you started the game without them. But I guess that's what random does to you sometimes.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'm looking at the pictures and scrolling through it now. I'm willing to try new things.
I finally unlocked my top row of heroes. So I finally completed a complete run of the game to be able to roll credits, which is very nice because I get to put that on the backlog bingo. The only problem with backlog bingo is I've really just I haven't been attacking it like I'm trying to get bingo. I'm just like, where does this game that I want to play fit in? So
that's what I did too, but it kind of worked out.
Yeah, we're only basically at August, so I still have time. I'm going to get a bingo. I just have to look at the board and what I've done and figure out what is the easiest way to get there at this point.
Exactly, and that's what makes it fun. I think is just you can. It's about trying to find games that you want to play and putting it in a creative way to get bingo. So yeah. I've left myself that choice. I'm like, I don't know what games I'm going to play, but I know I'm going to play a top 10 ranked game, which is awesome. That means it's going to be a really good game. And I know I'm going to play either an RPG or I'm going to play another game with a number in the title. Like I can call this guy a 5 the RPG, and then I'll just find a game with a number in the title. And one idea I had too was like Far Cry 3 or 4 or 5 or something. I haven't played any of those games.
Yeah, I have put a little bit of time into Far Cry 5, and I kind of enjoy it. So that's a game that I want to play and sink my teeth into more. But once again, that's a game that I don't really want to play around the kids.
I have that same thought. I forgot to double down on that because I'm in the same position. Like I like the Switch because I could take the Switch and walk away. The kids are in the room.
I love the Switch because I can do that. I honestly think that the Switch coming around is the reason that I started playing video games as much as I have. Mm-hmm. Like without that, I would play like a game or two a year. But because I have the Switch, I get to put a lot of time into it because I can do it while, I can be there with the kids while they're doing something else and playing on it. Or I can take it to work and play it on lunch.
Yeah. And I remember I bought the Switch because value. Exactly. That's why I originally bought the Switch, because you and Turkey were talking about that. And
that's right. Peer pressure.
And I was like, you know what? I should get a Switch.
And it was a great decision.
It was an excellent decision. I think it's one of my favorite consoles. I think it is my favorite console for that the portability.
Well, I'm approaching this area where sometimes my phone cuts out, sometimes it doesn't. So if I disappear for a minute, just stay with me. I'll be back.
Sounds good.
I think the phone works fine, but I think it loses data. So Skype, for instance. But since I'm getting close to home and we're almost done with this call, the main reason I wanted to have this conversation with you is so that, we can kind of put it out there, throw it for everyone to listen to. I know I've put one of your podcast drops on our feed before, I believe, and you've had a couple of since then. But the one thing I wanted to do was, just make it official and get your podcast like on our feed whenever you drop it, so that
Awesome.
you don't have to have a separate feed if you don't want. It just, you could be like, part of the Backlog Busters. If we can get you on an episode here and there, you can drop in. But I want to increase the Backlog family and put the hungry hippo.
I was
Nah,
pretty flattered when you said that. I made my day.
Yeah.
I absolutely want to be a part of it. I'm just like you guys. I have a family, and it's hard sometimes. So I'm not always regular with my drops. In fact, I was gonna try to do one probably tomorrow. I'll review Disgaea 5, and then I'll throw that one up there, and I'll probably continue to throw it on Podbean, and then I'll just double it over to you guys too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're using right now is Podbean. So
So I have no
But-
problem with that at all, and I think it's fun, and yeah, anytime that you guys want to talk, I'll do my best.
I like the idea of getting like, because obviously our podcasts are like once a month, but I like the idea of getting a little bit more content out there, because I realize with us just going like once a month that, you get a smaller listenership and stuff like that. That's why I really like the retro talk that Backlog Odyssey has been putting out.
Mhm.
Like, if you listen to some of those are really cool. I like that. And he's about to put one out that's not going to have a Backlog Buster in it. So it's going to be him talking to another member of, like, the video gaming community, which is kind of cool.
Cool.
But I like what he's done with that. And, it'll just be nice to, add you into the mix.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and
Yeah.
and yeah, then I appreciate the formal introduction. I am gonna be 38, so I'm right around, I think, the same age, or close to it, close enough. I'm in the age of the Super Mario 3
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, we're all in that range somewhere. Once you start hitting near 40, it all just blends together, right?
Yep, it all just blends together. And yeah, I think the talks you guys have had have been pretty interesting. And I'll check out the retro talk for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Patrick puts those up, and I quite enjoy them because they focus on one game, and Patrick puts a lot of work into it, and comes up with really good questions, and I don't know, he just puts more thought into this stuff than I do. I'm like, let's just kind of like shoot the crap and see where the conversation takes us, and he's like focused, and he does research. He's a great addition. Like him and Mathman and Blaze, I like having all of them.
Yeah, it's totally awesome to listen. And Patrick's the one, he just beat Castlevania, like the old Castlevania game. I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, he's been playing the Castlevania collection, which
I was like, oh man.
I remember. I think last year I went back and I beat
Respect.
Castlevania 1, and I did it on the 3DS, and I definitely made use of the save states to do it,
Absolutely.
because I don't have the skill I did when I was a kid to be able to just make a run and go through Castlevania.
I didn't have the skills as a kid either. I just
No,
don't have skills.
I only ever beat it once. Like, me and my buddy, we played that game for like months on end, and the first time that we got up, well, when we finally were able to start getting the Dracula consistency, he would kill us. So the first time that I thought I beat him, I was actually supposed to be in school, but I was sick that day, so I played Castlevania all day. And when I did the final blow, I literally had like 2 little bars of health left. And you know how, like, when you kill one of those enemies, they kind of like start exploding in a cloud of dust or whatever. So I paused the game till my buddy got out of school so I could call him and be like, I beat Dracula, you need to come down and see the ending. And when I unpaused the game, he turned into his second form and then beat me in one move. And I was like, wow, I waited for you to come home so that I could die to a second form.
So I could be decimated.
That's right. One of my all-time favorite video game stories ever ended in me dying. But we
That's
eventually
amazing.
beat it, and I don't really remember when we beat it, how we beat it, if we were both there or not. I just remember the time I thought I beat it and then died. Well, I am getting home, so I'm going to let you go. I have some
Alrighty.
kids to with for a little bit, but you have a great night, and we will chat again.
You too, good sir. And
Yeah, later.
stay safe out there.
Yes, you stay safe as well, kind sir. Bye.
Take care. Bye.